to February. February, our theme is practical Christianity. So, being a Christian is more than saying you are a Christian, it's about actually living different than the world. It's a lifestyle meant to be lived out practically. For the month of February, we will be looking at what it looks like to live out your Christianity practically. To actually, when people look at you, they say, yep, that is a Christian right there. Did you know that the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be renewed in your mind. As Christians, we should no longer allow the world to influence us, but our whole lifestyle changes when we become born again Christians. We no longer live according to the ways of the world. Our minds are renewed. And that brings me to my first point. The first practical thing that we can do as Christians is actually read our Bibles for ourselves. In the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 11, we see the Bereans whom Paul was preaching to. They did not take Paul's teaching at face value. They actually went to the scriptures and they searched the scriptures for themselves to see whether or not what Paul was teaching was the truth. When we read the Bible for ourselves, we are renewed in our minds. In other words, the way that we think changes. We no longer think the way the world thinks. We think completely differently. You need to read the Bible for yourself. You can't just take your church leader's sermons at face value. You need to spend time in the Bible yourself. So therefore, when you are living out your faith in Jesus Christ practically, you will study the Word of God for yourself. Another practical way of living out Christianity is through prayer. Prayer is a vital discipline to us as Christians because prayer to our spirit is like breathing to our bodies. In the Didache, which is a book about the teachings of the 12 apostles, Jesus' disciples, it actually says they taught that we should pray 3 times a day. I have personally set my alarm clock on my phone for 3 times a day to go off to remind me to pray during those times. Paul tells us in 1 Thessalonians that we should never stop praying. That means that we need to be in constant communication with God, because prayer to our spirit is like breathing to our body. If we stop breathing, our body is going to die. If we stop praying, our relationship with God might die. We need to be constantly dependent on God. And the only way we can do that is by constantly speaking to Him. And then fasting. The world loves consumption. And because we as Christians need to live separate from the world, that means we should also love God more than the things of this world. Fasting is to our spirit like eating is to our bodies. When we fast, our ears are open to God's voice and our spirit becomes sensitive to His presence. When we fast, we train our bodies that the things of God is more important to us than the things of this world. Now, I totally understand. In our modern day, fasting from food might not always be possible for everyone because of chronic medication or pregnancy or those kinds of things. But you can fast anything else that takes up more of your time than what you're spending with God. But if you are able to fast from food, then do that. And then when it is time for your meal or your snack, you spend time in prayer and you read the Word of God. And lastly, our actions. Our actions need to say that we are Christians. Being a born again Christian will always show in our actions because we will live and do things differently than the world. Because God's Spirit has poured out God's love in our hearts, we love people differently. And another thing that should show in our lives as Christians is the fruit of the Spirit. Jesus didn't say, judge them by their fruits for nothing. The fruit of the Spirit, we find that in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 to 25. And it says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. The way we as Christians live, the way we raise our kids, the way we have work ethic, the way we go about our business, the way we treat other people or our employees, that should reflect our relationship with God. Because every relationship that we have is a reflection of our relationship with God. How we go about our business is a reflection of our relationship with God. If the fruit of the Spirit is not visible in our lives, what are we doing? Are we truly saved then? The fruit of the Spirit and the change in us should be visible so that the world can see that we are children of God. So, for the month of February, I have come with another challenge. Find practical things to live out your faith in Jesus Christ. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to this video, give us a like, hit the notification bell, and share it with your friends to challenge them too. Have a blessed day. Shalom.